Hi everyone, welcome to the Money Hour with Lakshmi. We are your money coaches. I am Priya Agrawal and we have Chanchal Saxena with us. And today's session is all about how to plan for your kids' education. Because being Lakshmi community is all about supporting women to take charge of your finances, and it's very, very important for you to plan for your kids' education. So, today we have thought of a lot of topics that we are going to cover in this session. So, firstly, we'll cover like why do you need to plan for your child's education right now, and what are the factors you need to consider when you are planning for your kids' education, how to achieve those goals, what amount of money you would require, and your journey for the entire plan ahead. So, without much ado, let's get started. So, over to you, Chanchal.
Thank you, Priya. That was a brilliant introduction, and I hope all of you are excited to proceed with the session. But before we proceed, I want to tell you all something. We have prepared a very beautiful story, and it is definitely something that you wouldn't have ever thought of. So do stay tuned and do enjoy the story with us. And we have thought that maybe doing more stories, maybe showcasing more slides, it's something that is going to be more interactive. So we would really like if you would drop in your comments and tell us that you have joined in today and what are you looking forward throughout this session. Do keep answering our questions. It will be really fun to have a little chat with you. And I think you've joined after a little while, so want to know how are you all doing today? How is um, the weather doing for you? How is November doing for you? How is 1 month left for the year doing for you? So we're really excited to have a chat with you all. Do drop in your comments. And Priya, I think enough with my interactions and my conversations. And we have started getting comments as well. Hi Hema, hi Samita, hi
Hi,
Rebecca.
it's
Thank
great
you for
to have
joining in
both of
today.
you here. Definitely. We
Great.
have Nancy
So
also with us. Hi, Nancy.
lovely, lovely. All our women are coming. The whole Lakshmi squad has started assembling. And I think by the time we reach towards the end of the session, we're going to have like our Lakshmi squad back.
Yeah.
So, without any further ado, let's start with the session, Priya. So, before we proceed, the first question, and I think the basic question while we're here, why do we need to plan for our kids' education today? Like, what is the urgency? What makes you feel like you need to start early? So, can you answer that question for us?
All right, that's a great question, actually. So, to me, education. So, as we have seen recently and over the past few years, that like fulfilling their child's dream and getting the like for all the Indian parents, getting their child the best education is the most important dream, right? We all think so that we need to give our child the best education. He or she should go to the best college and do well in their careers, and for that we need to provide them the right set of education. So with this we say that it's very important to start planning for it, because as soon the earlier you start the better it is for you. So there are a few factors that we need to consider. So firstly, as we see that there is an educational inflation. So a lot of you might have heard about it, a lot of you might not. So let me tell you, like if we see in the education industry, the education costs have been rising at around 10% per annum. That's actually like a huge amount. So if you see that, if you're planning for your kids education right now, so you have some time to manage that inflation, get returns on your investments, so that at the age of like 18, when your kid turns 18 and you need to send him or her to the higher, like for higher studies, you are at a better place to do that. So first thing is that you need to consider education inflation in place, and the next thing is that we need to provide better quality of education. And third, talking about the third thing is, recently we had a money camp for all the kids and we got to interact with them. We got to know about their goals. Some wanted to become an economist, some wanted to become an astrophysicist, and there were many other goals. And we were so astonished by the way that these kids at such a young age could think about having those big big dreams. So we are like, as parents, our goal, like our role is to plan better for it, so that it helps them in achieving their goals at the right time. And one thing is that education, planning for your education helps your child to help in getting better earning capacity also. So if you have like a good education, your child is at a better place to earn more compared to the other things. So these are some of the reasons why we need to plan for your like for the education of your children right now. And see, the earlier you start, the better it is, because you enjoy the benefit of compounding. Thank you so much. Hope this answers.
Lovely, lovely. I think when we think of these pointers, where as you were speaking, I could think of one, I could think of the other, and I knew that, okay, this is relevant. But when you actually listed everything down, it just started making so much sense. And you realize that, yes, it is a true urgency. And I could see Samita's comment here. She has written, I don't want that my kid has a talent and can't do something just because I didn't plan well. So it's I think it's really important that parents do realize this, because I think in today's time the competition is so high, and the the field of growing is is like so huge that you don't want to miss out. And I think, as Samita said, and as you rightly pointed, that we all dream big, right? So I want to ask our audience who have joined in today that, have you ever thought that where you want to see your kid in the next XYZ years, when they grow old, where do you see them doing their future education? Like, are they studying in the Ivy Business School, or are they in some different foreign country? And maybe we want to know, have you even started planning that, or do you feel that this is something that should be left out for left to the kids to decide? So do let us know, and that will actually help us understand how parents, in this generation feel. Do they think that it's important to be a part of their child's plan, child's future plans, or is it not? Until we receive answers in the comments, Priya, I would like to know, what did you wanted to become when you were younger?
Okay, so when I was young, I always wanted to go into like become a collector, like as an IPS officer. So that was my dream. And as I grew up, I realized, that I was more into finance and wanted to make like bring a change in the society, and saw that there was a need of financial planning. So that is how, from like a dream of becoming an IPS officer to becoming a financial, as a money coach, this has been my journey. What about you?
So I remember when I was younger, I had this weird thing about sharks, and I was like, I want to become a marine biologist when I grow up. But then I think science happened, and that's when I realized that, okay, Chanchal, stop thinking so high. Just switch to commerce, because that is like the next best field for you. So yeah, I always wanted to get into science. I was really interested, but then I just realized that the subjects were not my best friends. But there's one experience that I really want to share with you and with all our audiences here. It is kind of funny, but I think it's really important because it also relates to what we're discussing. When you want to join the NDA, the National Defense Academy, it's
Yeah.
like you can join it before the age of 18 or 20. Like, that is the eligibility criteria. I did not know that. And there was suddenly like this, when recently a lot of movies were coming out on soldiers and,
Yeah.
army officials, like Uri came, then recently Shesha happened. And I was like, wow, it is so amazing to serve for the country. Everyone should be a part of it. And I was like, why not, like, why not inquire about it? It's not like I don't know, I just have to join it, right? But why not inquire about it? And that's when I realized that I'm way past that point that I can actually enroll myself. Now I can get into it, but through a different way. So
Yeah.
I think it's really important to be very well aware of which field you want to get into, because it might happen that you have all the resources, you have all the knowledge, you have everything that you need, but it's maybe the time is not in your favor, or the eligibility criteria, you might just surpass it. So I think that is also one of the important points why you need to be very well aware. So wait, we have received some wonderful comments. Priya, do you want to take that up?
Yeah, definitely. So from Poonam, we have received that my child is really good in computers. How I plan to send him to IITs as they are very expensive. Okay, Poonam, definitely we'll cover how you can plan your journey ahead, and we hope that you like fulfill your child's dream and your dream as well. So the next comment is from Samita. She's saying that I honestly don't see anything. I just want her to be able to do what she wish. So that's lovely, Samita. And the one thing that we would like to say is that, have a discussion with your child, like see where she wants to go, and, so that you have a ballpark figure in your mind that where you need to plan for it. So that will be able to help you a lot. And Chanchal, she has a comment for you that science happened. She loved your comment on that. And the next comment is from Hema. She's saying that my nephews are small and one day they want to be a pilot, one day doctor, and one day they want to be a fish. That's super cute.
Oh my god, I love that fish thing. I think with jobs coming up as becoming live mermaids,
Yeah.
soon there'll be something like becoming a fish. I am pretty sure.
Yeah.
All
And
right, amazing.
other comment is from Akshita. She's saying that my son should be able to do whatever he wants to achieve. That's our goal, right? That is why we want to have like entire session on why you need to plan and how you need to plan so that you are at the right place to achieve your goals. So definitely, Chanchal, I think now is the right time for all the audience. We have a good number of people watching us right now. So why don't you tell us the story that we are waiting for since the beginning?
All right, I am pretty excited and I really, really wish that you all like it too. So I think we can start sharing. I'll just share my screen.
Yeah.
Priya, give me a go ahead and I'll start.
Yeah, it's on screen right now.
All right. So I'm pretty sure everyone who has joined in today is well aware of the movie The Three Idiots, right? So we have thought of something very creative and we thought that we'd present to you a story that is The Three Idiots spin-off. It is completely about our protagonist, the virus, and Priya, as we know. This is not the story about the Priya money coach that we have, but it is the story Priya, the daughter of Mr. Virus. Now, before we move ahead, a disclaimer that everything we are talking is completely fictional. It's completely just imaginary. So any numbers, any figures that we're taking, it is kind of relevant, but then at the same time, it's not fixative. So with an open mind, enjoy the story. So one day, Virus had Priya. The day Priya was born, Virus wanted Priya to become a doctor. And I think we all knew that since the very beginning, right? But like we know in today's times, no parent would want their child to pick a career that they don't want to pursue. So as all of you commented here, even Virus had opened the gates for Priya to pick her career. But apparently Priya wanted to become a doctor as well. So she picked the India's best medical college for herself and she thought that yes, this is what I want to get into. Later on, as we knew, Virus was smart. What he did was he sat on his desk and he started calculating that the day I decided should become a doctor, the fee for that institution was somewhere around 30 lakh, approximately that much he would need to arrange for to get her into the best college. And he also was aware of the fact that the rate of inflation is somewhere around 10%. So by the time Priya turns 18, he would require a corpus of 1.6 CR. So what he did, since he was smarter than that and we all are aware of it, he downloaded the Lxme app. He downloaded the Lxme app and he made sure to attend the session that we kept on kids education, planning for your kids education, and he was aware of the different things that were going on. He used to read the articles, he used to read the different posts that were created on the app for all the parents to properly plan for the kids education. What he did was he went to the tax calculator and he actually put the target amount that was 1 crore 60 lakhs and he put the target time as 18 years. That's when he realized that the amount that he would require to invest today would be somewhere around 15 lakhs as a lump sum money, or he would need to start an SIP of 16,000 per month to reach the target amount that he's aiming for. And guess what? He even got a kickstart with a relevant recommendation, that is the long term plan by Lakshmi. So here you can see that the target return is somewhere around 14%. Again, we know that mutual funds come with a market risk. These are indicative returns based on the past performances. He got really intrigued. He was like, wow, that is amazing. Like a plan that is already prepared by the experts. Why not go ahead with that? And soon he discovered the various other plans that Lakshmi presented as well. The tax saving plan, the gold saving plan, the short term plan, the ultra short term plan, and the new plans that are coming up too, the rupees 100 equity plan and the rupees 100 debt plan. Then what did he do? He picked up the phone, he called the call center at Lakshmi, and he opened an account for Priya. He started his investment journey so that he could make sure that Priya could go to the India's best medical college. And then what happened? Priya grew up, Priya started pursuing her career, and now you can see that Virus and Priya together are looking towards a brighter future. Don't get fooled by the image that they are looking for her marriage, but they're actually looking towards her becoming a very successful doctor. With this, we end up the story, and we have a little message to share as well. Because of the number of audiences that we had during our live session, we saw that a lot of fathers joined in too. And at Lakshmi, we always encourage women, we always encourage motherhood, and we always say that how much power women bring, how much power women bring in a family, in themselves, in their offsprings. But I think with this story, we would also like to appreciate all the single dads who are taking up the role of a mother. So, with that, I finish off my story, and I'm pretty sure you all must have liked it. Do let us know if you like the story. And there is more to it. It's not just a story, but also a story with some learnings. So, Priya, I want to know, what did you learn from the story today?
Okay, first of all, I really enjoyed the story. It was one thing that is very relatable, and to understand very critical concepts like planning your education, like, or making a financial plan, because it sounds too technical and difficult. But this story made it really easy for me to understand. So, some of the learnings from my this story was that firstly, a few factors that we need to consider, or why is considered while planning for the education, was the first thing is the age of the the age of the child, that because that determines your investment time period, which comes to the second factor, that is the time horizon of your investments. So supposedly, if your age, if your child's age is 1 year, and you want to plan for his or her higher studies at the age of 18, so then you have 17 years to plan for it or invest for it. So these are the two factors. The next thing that comes is that, what is the current education cost according to his or her dreams. So when we are talking about the current cost, as Virus figured out, that the current medical education fees is rupees 30 lakhs approximately, considering certain assumptions. So with this, he or she needs to plan for it, like, right away. If the current cost is supposedly X amount, what is the next factor is the inflation rate. So what is the inflation in the education industry, or if in a particular, say, I would say, if you know, like, the current value in a management course or in a medical course, etc. So accordingly, you can figure out the average cost of your, like, education future value of it, like the future value, like the goal amount, you will be able to determine with that. Next is your current saving capacity. Like, we all know that we want to save a lot of money and we want to invest for it, but we need to consider what are, like, our boundaries currently. So whatever earning we have, accordingly we prefer, that is why we suggest that, you should have a budgeting strategy in place. So one of the things that we usually talk about on the community is the 50-30-20 golden rule of investing. So sometimes, if our goals, I would say that it would not suffice in that 20%, so we may change the percentages of our savings as per to reach our goals. So this is why the saving capacity is very important. And the next thing is, the risk appetite. It's not necessary that everyone will have a risk appetite, a higher risk appetite. So we need to select the investment instruments accordingly. So as we saw that, Virus selected us like asset allocated plan, like equity and debt, according to the time horizon he had in place. So this made him achieved his goals. So this is how we can plan. And there are also things like, there are short term goals and long term goals. So supposedly it's not just, you have to plan for the higher education, which is a long term goal, but you need to plan for the primary education as well, because that is also a part of learning. So I think that will, suffice in that short term investments, and the higher studies may go into that long term goals. So accordingly these can be planned. So these were few of my learnings from this story.
Great. I think you picked up all the right pointers, and I would like to know if the audience who watched the story and who heard your learnings do relate to it and do find that this is something that even they could pick up from the story, or if they have a new learning, or if they have a different perspective, would definitely love to see that. We
Yeah.
have a few comments where Samita said, but Virus is a man. He definitely is a man, but I think any person who wants to do something for the child, irrespective of the gender, is always welcome to Lakshmi, and they can always start something for the children. Be it a man or a woman, you can always start an account for your kid, and that is how we see all of us growing. And I think Hema said was pinging the same. So I think we got everyone's attention with the fact that today we talked about virus and not Priya. But okay, no, nothing to worry. Priya, we have a question for you where Sharayu is asking, what is the average inflation rate for higher education in India and the USA?
Okay, so currently, if you're planning for your child's education, it's better to take an inflation rate of around 10%. It may change year on year, but it's usually around 10 to 12%. So if you can consider an average, it will give you a margin. So supposedly, if it's less, then you have a extra sum of money to plan for other things. And if there is something like if you fall short of money, then there are other ways to plan for that differential amount.
Awesome. I think that answers your question, Shirayu. And for the US part, I think on an average it's somewhere around 8 to 10%. So I think the cost of education is above 8 to 12% as a whole, we can consider.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next question, we have it from Akshata, who's asking, what is the present inflation for education? Will it be the same even after 15 years?
Okay. So Akshita, currently, as per the previous records as we have read about on the internet, so it says that it's around 10 to 12% year on year basis, but it may see, inflation is something which is not predictable, and there are certain scenarios which cause the inflation to increase or to go down. So there are it's better to have a margin in place and plan for it. If it's if it matches your expectation, or if it's like around 10% only, then you are you were at the right track. Otherwise, as a year on year basis, it's always important to rejig and review your portfolio. So if you see that there's like the education inflation is increasing at a whopping rate like more than 10%, then you need to change your asset allocation accordingly. So it's better to review your portfolio year on year. And it's not just about the inflation also. There are times that the child's dream keeps on changing, because when a child is young, they may think they want to become a doctor, but after reaching after studying, or after reaching my maybe like 11th or 12th, when we are actually at the point of time when we want to decide our careers, it may happen that they want to become an engineer or a businessman or any other like a profession. So that is where you need to change your plans also. So it's like a continuous activity that you need to do, with a review, like a continuous review on a yearly or a 6 monthly basis, if it's like a long term plan. So hope that
Awesome.
answers your question, Akshita.
Definitely, Priya. I think that I've clearly answered that question. Moving ahead, now that we don't have any more questions to address as of now, um, wait, we have a comment from Hema. Yes, kids' mindset changes frequently, so we have to be ready financially to support them and make their dreams come true. I think that is the word, right? Like that is the word. And Hema, I think all the parents who are here today do share the same mentality like yours, that you just want to provide. You know, the kids can blossom into whatever they want to be, but you want to provide them with the best. So now, moving ahead and coming to the main part of today's session, that is how to achieve these goals. We have talked about how to set the parameters, how to, which all factors to consider, but now we come to the part where we actually discuss how to achieve these goals and what are the different ways of achieving these goals. So what we're going to do is I'm going to talk to you about the part where you can cover the goals by yourself, and Priya will then guide you that how you can cover them with the borrowed part of it. So Priya, should I start with the self part?
Yeah, definitely. But one thing I'd like to add, sorry, is my voice echo?
No, I think it's right. It's okay.
All right, all right. So one thing I'd like to say that if you found this like story or anything like the content relatable, and if you think that with your like sharing of this video can help other parents or your family or friends, so do share it. I request you to do that because it will help us reach like a larger audience, and it will help us in achieving our goals. Like we want all of you to become financially independent and take charge of your finances, so do share this video and we'd appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Awesome. I'm pretty sure everyone who's here is definitely going to share this video, and after they hear us talk about the different ways we can achieve their goal, I'm pretty sure all the parents are going to be they are going to be really interested to know how to do it, right? So, moving on to the part where we talk about how you can fund your child's education by yourself, there are two ways of going about it. One is using your savings, and the other using the returns from your investment. Now, before we move on to that, it's really important to understand that the time period plays a very important role. For example, if your kid is maybe they are in their fifth or sixth standard right now, you know you have to pay for the fees in the upcoming 2 to 3, in fact, the next year itself, right? So 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years will be your primary education fee that will be covered, and that fee will basically include your schooling fee, so it won't be that much. And then after after the next 5 years, they'll get into their they'll have to start planning for the graduation. So that's when you actually start accumulating a higher corpus. So now that you know that your terms are divided in two halves, one is the ultra short, actually three halves. One is an ultra short term goal that is in the next 1 year. Then you have the short term goals that is from 1 to 3 years, and then you have the long term goals. And then within the long term goals, you have even further bifurcations like long term, ultra long term, and even longer terms. So by actually segregating your goals into different time frames, you can actually use and pick the right instrument for investment. So when we talk about savings in this case, it is ideal that you use these savings for things like stationery, school supplies, funding for their extracurricular activities like sports or performing arts, or any other thing like signing up for Olympiads, enrolling for competitions. You should use those savings for these purposes, and I'm pretty sure like parents in today's times are actually not worried about these factors, but 2 years back we were all worried about changing uniforms every year, school bags, water bottles, and in today's time, no kid is ready to go. Like nobody is ready to settle for something which is too okay. Everybody wants to have like the best of all, right? So a classy pencil box, one with opens up, it and has like a sharpener and everything inside it. So we knew that that time the supplies were expensive. It is a costly affair, but maybe in today's time, that is something that not everyone is worried about, but everything might again come back to normal, and that soon you will have to start planning for that too. So savings is something that you can use for these things, and the reason we say that is because when you actually use up your savings, you're using savings that is also required for meeting other stuff, right? Like so for if you're saving up for an XYZ event, you're actually using that same corpus to meet that goal and to meet this goal. So savings is something you should not be completely dependent about, because then you can use it for other goals as well. Talking about can't view anything here. I think okay. I
Uh,
think there's some internet issue. Priya, is there an internet issue with us over here?
No, I think it's perfect. Fine.
Okay, all right. So
Kam-
moving on to the, sorry.
No, I'm just saying that, Kamna, can you check your internet connection? Maybe then it will, like, reconnect. Try reconnecting. It will
Yeah,
work then. Yeah.
sorry. Okay, Zenal says we can see and hear you. Okay, perfect. So moving on, the next part is the returns from your investments. So now, like how I talked about the different goals and different time frame of your goals. So now, when you know that you're looking for an ultra short term investment, you would actually want to invest in an instrument which will give you either regular returns, or which is so highly liquid that you can liquidate it and meet your ultra short term goals. So for example, you can actually invest in um, you can actually invest in debt mutual funds like liquid funds, ultra short duration funds, overnight funds, and use the best of it. When we talk about short duration goals, that is from 1 to 3 years, you can actually opt for short term FDs, and you can opt for the monthly payout feature or quarterly payout feature of their interest, so that every quarter or every month you are getting something back. Now this is the money that you can actually start using for your child's tuition fee or their quarterly for example, there are some schools that take annual fees, some take monthly fees, some take quarterly fees. So you can accordingly set your instruments aside which are going to give you that kind of return in that time frame, so that you can meet your goals in those particular time frames. Then when we talk about long term goals, we have a lot of options, right? So long term goals, you can actually opt for so if you have a girl child, then an SSY is a very great tool to opt for. You can offer equity mutual funds, you can opt for equity other equity options like shares and stocks, if you're well aware of how to use that. Then you can offer PPF. You can actually take out money from your EPF account as well for this. You can opt for a child plan mutual fund. So a child plan mutual fund is a mutual fund that is actually curated just for this specific purpose. It is one of the goal-oriented scheme that is available to all the investors out there. You can actually offer electronic gold, and when you invest in electronic gold like SGBs or gold mutual funds, gold ETFs. And since we know that gold is a long term instrument, actually, after those many years, you can redeem it and use that money to fund your child's education. Because we know that gold has also given a positive trend over the years, and gold is something that we actually look for as a safety net for in our portfolio, right? So these are the various instruments that you can look for. Again, this list is not exhaustive. You can always look around and check for right instruments. If you're someone who's a conservative investor, you can always opt for post office savings schemes like KVP, NSC, MIS. MIS is monthly income scheme. So these schemes are also going to help you to generate the right corpus for your child's education. One thing I would like to highlight here is that since children's education, especially for short term or ultra short term, is something that you need to meet, like you can't afford to lose money there. Try to keep your investments really safe. Even if you're an aggressive investor by nature, try to keep these, goal specific investments safe, like really safe, because you don't want to fall short of money when in times of need. So with that, I think I've covered these various instruments. There are a couple of instruments that we have already talked about in our previous lives. So if you want to know more about them, you can go check them out. If there's any instrument that we haven't talked about, please feel free to drop in your comments, so we can always do a session on that if that particular instrument for you. And with that, I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to pass on the mic to Priya.
Okay, thank you so much, Anshan. It was a lovely, lovely explanation about, what are the instruments that one can use to plan for their child's education. And so this was all we talked about, how as an individual, how I can self fund my, child's education. But sometimes there are times that we are not able to, fulfill the right amount of education, and we're not able to achieve the goal, and we are always falling, like sometimes falling short of money. So there are sources that look like the borrowed fund sources, where you can get your, like get money for your child's education, and like let them achieve their dreams and fulfill their like education and everything. So like for beginning, I would start with, firstly, the very important thing is, like, the in case of borrowed fund, is the education loan. It is very it's available very easily, but all you need to do is you need to consider, like, whether it's the right option for you or not. There are multiple times where you can always negotiate on the interest rates if you have like a good CIBIL score, everything. And if the like child has a good education records, if he or she is getting into good colleges, then there these are also factors which plays a like a important role in getting in education loan at the like the right time for yourself. So we have conducted like an entire session on education loan, how you can start with it, what are the factors that you need to consider, what is the repayment process and everything. And plus also we have talked about tax benefits, because at the end, when the child starts earning after attaining the right education, they need to pay for the loans. So the EMI starts like after, so there's a moratorium period that we have talked about, like after the education ends until the time the child gets a job. So if there's like a 6 to 12 months gap, post that the EMI start. It's not just like after taking a loan generally the EMI starts, but for this the bank also have some, like, gives the relief to the kids, like like study properly, have like a break, a margin period, so that you have enough time to get a job and then start repaying your EMIs. So this is one thing. And there are a lot of tax benefits also that the government offers, because they also want to get better education, and they want the country to be better and more literate as we move forward. So these are certain things I would say about education loans. So this is one of the options. There are other options, like you can take advances from your salary. So if you are employed at a particular place and you are falling short of money, you can always ask your employer to get like give an advance to you on the basis of your salary. There may be conditions, like your employer may charge you interest or may not charge you interest on that amount. And the other thing is that sometimes your investments also give you an option to take an advance or a loan, or you can withdraw your money from that as well. So there are options like PPF, EPF. You can always withdraw money or take a loan from that. And the last option is borrowing money from your friends or family. So sometimes it may happen that you have planned entirely, but that 1 lakh rupees is just stopping your kid and you to just be at the dream college where you want to. So if you are not able to avail loans from the like sources like banks or institutions, then your family or friends may come to help to you. So this is one of the sources that you can get money. And with that, we cover up the entire instrument set of instruments, with self and borrowed, on how you can plan your child's education. So I hope that is like fruitful and productive for all of you, and to get you started. And it's like very I would say it's a continuous process, and it's very easy. It's not difficult to plan. It's just that you need to have the right set of education. And if you have any doubts, we are always there. We have a community, we have a Being Lakshmi community on the app as well as on the Facebook. So you can always reach out to us. We are there to help you and guide you in your money journeys. And yeah, with that, we end this session, and we'll take up more questions from here onwards. And one more thing I'd like to highlight here is that when you have the time and when you have everything right now, then why not start today? Like, why wait for tomorrow? It's always better to start early. And when after 18 years or whatever x many years, when you see the value of your investments grow, you will feel happy at that time, remembering that you started at the right time. So begin your investment journey today and don't wait for tomorrow to start it. So with that, we'll take up questions, Chanchal.
I think that is a very lovely thing that you said, Priya. And, it just reminded me of something that it's not just it's not just the parents' responsibility to plan for the child's future education, but at the same time it's the responsibility to teach them how to plan money anyway, not just for education, but how to go about planning money, having those money conversations, and teaching them how to, like, maybe like how to pay taxes, or how to plan your taxes, or how to make a budget, and maybe if your kid is too young, how to save. So
Yeah.
the parents' responsibility, I know for a fact that parents do a lot of things for their kids, but what is important is that while they're planning for the children's education, they're also ensuring that they're inculcating these habits in them, so that when they grow older, it's not just the parents' responsibility to plan. They actually have a helping hand together too.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, let's start with the questions now.
Yeah.
Before we move ahead, we have a comment from Zenil who's saying, right, sports need a lot of money. Fees are super high these days. I totally agree. In fact, there are so many institutes, like sports institutes, where I think the fee is way more than what you pay in a school for academics. So, in today's time, where a lot of, like how we mentioned, right, like there is the spectrum is huge to for a child to prosper. So anywhere you go, you have to be prepared that if tomorrow your child comes and tells you that, hey mom, I don't want to get into becoming a doctor or an engineer. I actually want to become a dancer or a singer, and I want to join like this institute or that institute. You don't have to say that, oh my god, I didn't plan for it, or oh my god, I'm short of money for that. So what we are here today is to ensure that the corpus is ready. It's our child's mind that needs to come and decide what they want to do. So any thoughts on that, Priya?
No, that's lovely, Chanchal, because as parents, we try our best to give the best education with all the hard work that parents put in to do that. And, then it becomes I would say, kids' responsibility to study properly and achieve, fulfill those dreams. Because
Right.
at the end of the day, we all want to do something that makes our parents proud. So, this
Absolutely.
will actually, getting better education, doing something really good will actually make them happy, and all the efforts, fall into one place, and it's all worth it at the end. So
True.
I think that's good. So yeah, we'll take up questions now. So it's just a second. Okay, so we have Samita's comment. She's saying that I literally have no goal as of now, as her kid is only 4 years old. So, what should she aim for?
So Samita, I believe that since your child is 4 years old, soon they'll get into preschooling, and then I think a lot of parents, when the child is somewhere around 4, 5, or 6 years old, actually start sending them to these like they either start with dance classes, or they start with singing classes, or they start with guitar classes, karate classes, because they feel that the earlier they start, the foundation becomes better. So, now that your kid is like 4 year old, now is the time where you can actually start thinking that, okay, how do I want the preschooling to be done? Should the preschool have a school, a continuous schooling system that you don't need to change, or will you have to change your kid's school? So when you start making a blueprint of your goal, soon just start adding amount and timelines to it, and make your goal as a financial goal. Once you do that, you will be in a better place to judge that, okay, in the next 1 year I need to arrange for this much money, for the next 3 years I need to arrange for this much money, and for the next 5 years I need to arrange for this much money. By doing that, like how I talked about, bifurcating your goals into different terms and then allocating instruments, that'll be a better way for you to judge that how much money you would need, and actually that'll help you understand that how do you want to plan your kids future. Because I agree that as a parent, you don't want to force anything upon your child, and you want them to make their decisions independently. But a child who's 4 year old, who doesn't know what's right or wrong, or who doesn't understand the different things around, it is important for you to step in and at least create a basic foundation for them. So maybe that is the right way of approaching it. And if you have any other idea, or if you think that you can actually customize your plan in a different way, as a parent, I think it's your rightful duty to even exercise that. So we can give you these suggestions, but if you feel that they can actually help you out, it would be great to see that.
Great. We have a follow-up question from her. She's saying, "What amount I aim for for the higher education?" So, can I take up that question, Chanchal?
Yeah.
So Samita, I'd like to say that since you don't have like a proper goal in mind, so what you can do is like consider an average cost of a higher education, like what can be the yearly cost or the total cost of the course, like a 3 year or a 5 year course. Consider an average. Supposedly, it may be around for a course that it may consider around 20 lakh rupees. So you can consider that goal amount as a ballpark figure right now and can start planning your investment. And as soon as you refine your goals in a better and in a specific manner, you make a smart goal for yourself moving forward when your child also grows and you have a proper goal in place, then you can always modify that amount and can rejig your investment plan accordingly. So as of now, take a rough figure of what your current education costs of often like a general course, and what will be the future cost of it considering the education inflation that we talked about. So with that, you will have a figure in mind. Use the calculator to identify how much you need to save for it currently on a monthly basis, or if you want to go for a lump sum, as per your convenience you can start investing. And once you have everything in place, you can just always recheck your investments. So I think that will be able to help you a lot in planning your like child's education.
Absolutely.
Chanchal, I would ask you another question. It's from Samita only. So she's asking
Sure.
how SSY is a good option for higher education as the tenure is 21 years.
So Samita, yes, the maturity period of SSY is 21 years, but there's a clause that once the girl attains the age of 18, she can start withdrawing money from her SSY account for meeting her future education needs or for marriage. So if you have a girl child and if you have prepared a corpus for her in her SSY account, you don't have to worry about the fact that she won't be able to make the best use of it. In fact, that'd be better because she would be the right person to make the best use of it. So I think that answers the question.
That's great, Chanchal. It does. So we have another question from Zenal. She's asking, should I go with insurance or mutual funds for my child's education for long term if I want to invest 3,000 monthly?
So Zenil, one thing that we always talk about at Lakshmi, and that is insurance and investments are two different things. When we talk about insurance, we actually talk about taking a coverage to protect you and your loved ones from any contingencies, and there could be anything, right? If it's a medical insurance, then from medical emergency, and if it's a life insurance, then untimely death, and these are the things that we use insurance for. When we talk about investments, we are purely investing in an instrument that is either market linked or that is interest linked, which is giving you returns for the amount you have put in for a particular period of time. Now, there are a lot of investment instruments that are available, which are insurance and investment linked, which promises you to actually give you some insurance coverage as well as give you some returns. Now, you need to understand that you are getting the benefit of two things, but at the same time, look at the amount that is being invested. The 10,000, if or in your case the 3,000 monthly that you're investing in a scheme which is insurance plus investment, it is being bifurcated in two different instruments. But if you purely invest it in an instrument like a mutual fund, the entire 3,000 is being made use of. So if you're looking for an investment plan, be it for a short term or a long term, insurance is something that we do not recommend. However, at the end of the day, if you feel that that plan makes sense for you, it is beneficial for you, and it meets your needs, then you can always go ahead and make your investments in that. But then again, we would not really say investments. You can choose that plan to support your goals. That is the right way we would frame it. So again, summarizing the question, I think in like like I said, that insurance is something that should not be taken into consideration, and mutual funds, if you have to compare between the two, would be an ideal way to go ahead with it.
Great, Chanchal. Thank you so much for answering that. And one thing I'd like to add here is, Zinal, that it's good that you have that 3K monthly investment in place. But, what I'd like you to do is align that whether that 3K is helping you achieve your goal or not. So if you are able to achieve your investment goal amount through that 3,000 monthly investment, it's well and good. But if if there's like after some point of time you may need to increase that, you will have an idea beforehand only that that currently you are able to save 3,000, but like if your goal requires you to save more money, then eventually you can manage your budget accordingly and save for that amount. So I think that will help you. And we have question from Akshata. She's asking, what is the best thing and way that I can teach my kid about saving? So Akshata, I think you missed the last session. We actually organized the money camp with for all the kids, and Preeti herself conducted the session and taught all the kids about the basics of money management in a very fun and an interesting way. So but I'll share one thing with you. So what you can do is that, like, the example that we considered was, like, it's very important for a kid to understand the saving and investment aspect of it. So for savings you can start with like the pocket monies, or like kids earn usually uh, money by doing different works for their like parents, or organizing something at a summer camp or anything like that. So with that they can start saving money in their piggy banks, which is like their safest source, as they consider at home that they can put money in their piggy banks. Post that, whenever, like, as they are mature enough to understand the concept of savings properly, you can ask them to like they can save this money into the bank account. Like you can open a bank account for him or her, and the money can be put it into that. And to make them understand the concept of investing, you can give them like an example that we considered was, like, as a kid, if you got certain amount of money right now, you will be able to buy one remote control car. But if you have that, if you invest that money, so you have after 5 years or after x many years, you will be able to buy two cars. So this way you can explain them how your money grows. So this is like one of the, I would say, a short story from the session that we conducted. But yeah, hope that helps you. And you can use that daily, whatever we see. And if you think that if something is relatable to understand, to make them understand the concept of different aspects of personal finance, you can always do that, because real life examples are always relatable, and a person can retain that. So I think
True.
that helps.
True. And I think I would like to add something here, Akshita, that kids kids are young and they are very innocent, and they don't really understand a lot of emotions, right? But a few emotions that they understand are like desires. So you can always explore these emotions, and you can always teach them that, look, if you really desire to buy candies for yourself, you desire to buy ice creams for yourself, to buy the best toys, or you want to buy the best set of stationery. And honestly, kids these days are not tempted by things that we were tempted when we were young. Nowadays, kids are really like tempted by by things we did not even know existed. So you can always you can always teach them that if you really want to buy something, it's important for you to save, because if today they receive any money, and the thing is that there are various events when kids receive money, right? They get, like how Priya mentioned, or by doing household chores for their parents, parents can start paying them and teach them the whole lesson of earning. There are often events like Rakhi, birthdays, Diwali, and various events where they actually start receiving money from their loved ones. So when you tell them that this is the money that you have received, and if you save this, you will be able to buy this in the next couple of days, months, and something. And how Priya mentioned that if they don't really need something right away, and if you tell them that if you invest it, you're going to get even something better, by actually exploring their emotions of desires, you can inculcate the habit of savings for them. But then it's also important to give them a little reality check, and might work for some kids, might not be idle for some kids, but that's actually the parents call to take. You can also teach them things like, if when you grow up, if you really want a settled career, if you really want to have the best of everything, you need to start saving and earning today. You can always tell them that if you, like how we were told when we were young, right, that if you don't study, you'll not get into a good college, you'll not get the best of your life. Similarly, you can tell your kids that if you don't save today, you'll not be able to meet your needs, you'll not be able to go out and enjoy this or go out and enjoy that. So that's completely a parent's call, that how they want to drive motivation. They want to do it the positive way or the negative way. But then there are various ways that you can actually explore and know and actually pick one that is the best for your kid. So I think that can also help you out.
Actually, it does, Chantal. Thank you so much for that. And another question I'd like to take up is from Rebecca. She's asking, what is the best way for paying up yearly school fees? Is RD a good option?
Way of yearly school fees is already a good option. Okay, so Rebecca, one thing that I would like to highlight here, that when we talk about FD and RD, it's important to understand that the difference between an FD and RD is the frequency of deposit and not of withdrawal. So when you talk about RD, that means you can actually deposit money in a recurring manner, but the withdrawal is going to be the same as it is for a fixed deposit. You will have a set period of time. You can opt for the interest payout option, be it yearly, quarterly, monthly, or however. So, picking an RD should be an option if you think that the returns are good, and since you're talking about paying up yearly school fees, I'm assuming it's like a 1 year goal or a 2 year goal. Then again, you should see that your RD should be flexible enough to not charge you any penalty for withdrawing money in the next 1 or 2 years. If you think it fits all these criterias, then definitely RD could be a better option for you. Otherwise, like I mentioned before, for a shorter period like a 1 year, 2 year, you can opt for short-term RDs and FDs or debt mutual funds. Yeah,
Oh,
you want to
yeah.
add something to that?
Yeah, just one thing, like, like RD can be one of the instruments, and the other thing, as we mentioned, like the ultra short term funds or the debt funds can be an option. So, if you want to diversify your investments and park your money, if you want, like, you want to save monthly also. So, there are multiple options of investing in mutual funds as well as RDs also. So, you can invest in maybe an SIP, or if you have supposedly a set sum of money, so you can opt for, as Chanchal mentioned, that the interest payout option. So this can be in terms of dividend paying mutual funds, or can be the debt mutual funds that gives you interest on a monthly or a, like, as per the like timeline set by you, so you can use that as well. So this will help you in paying out the school fees, because actually, as we see that it's not just about the higher education that costs a lot these days. The school fees are also skyrocketing. So earlier, they, like, it may happen that around like 15,000 or 20,000 would have been sufficient to pay the entire, like, a year's school fees. But nowadays we are seeing that kids are going to schools where the school fees is around 2 lakhs or 3 lakhs a year. So, as like parents, it's very important to Rebecca, you have the right question, because it's important to plan. It's not just the savings aspect is enough. It's important to invest that money as well, even if it's for a short term. So I hope that like answers your question, Rebecca. The next is from Kinjal. She's asking, is it age specific? Like, how do we make a 5-year-old understand the saving concept? As a parent, we take in charge of the amount they receive. Okay, so Acha Chanchal, you were about to say something. Go
No, it's
ahead.
okay. I think I can take it later on. You can go ahead, please.
All right. So, Kinjal, it's just, like we at Lakshmi consider that 8 years is the right age to start, the money conversations with the kids. But there are certain times, the kids are like really mature to understand the concepts because we talk money at our home. So it makes them, the conversation is very relatable for them to understand. And it may happen that they start understanding money at an early age as well, like even after like they are 5 or 6. So as we conducted the money camp also. We had most of the kids from the age background of around above 8 years, but there were kids from like from the age bracket of 6 years or 7 years also that were interested to learn about money. So it's not age specific, I would say. And the other thing is like, how do we make a 5 year old understand the savings concept? So as I previously mentioned, that you can always start like the concept of saving by asking them to save the money in the piggy bank, because it is like their money, it's kept with themselves, and they are the ones who are putting the money in the piggy bank. So they know, like after the piggy bank is filled, so they can use that money to buy something for themselves, or you know get some candies or ice creams, as we mentioned. So this is something that we can say that if you save, if like if your piggy bank is full, then you can buy your favorite toy, or a like a dress for yourself, or anything, or go on a vacation also. Like there are times that kids also wants to like have travel goals. So you can use that, like they want to go to Disneyland or anything. So this can, you just have to make them realize, I would say, that like as adults we say that you need to identify your goals. Your kids also may be having goals. It may be like a fairyland goals, but there are goals. So you always need to make them understand, like if you want to do this, this is how the process needs to be. But make them like understand them in a easier format, like I gave the example of the remote control cars, and we gave them examples of saving in a piggy bank and then maybe putting it in a bank later on.
Definitely. And what I wanted to actually add was that, Kinjal, we totally understand that, a kid below, under the age of 6, they're very fragile. They don't really understand and pick up concepts. And even if they understand, they don't really retain such things. But then that's the whole point, that you need to continuously engage them in such conversations. As you rightly said, that when they're young, as parents, you take in charge of their money. So whatever you're doing with that money, keep telling them about it. Like if you're putting it in a bank, keep telling them that there's something like a bank, where you put your money. The bank grows your money over the next years. You will, if you put this much amount today, you'll get. You can always tell them, like, it can get doubled in X many years. It can get tripled in X many years. They don't really need to learn the interest component or compounding component or simple interest component at this age, but they need to understand is that bank is a place where when you put money is going to grow your money. So maybe continuously engaging them in conversations, and uh, really breaking things down for them, because if you start talking about jargons, I mean, even grown-ups don't really engage in financial conversations because they fear the jargons. So kids, I mean, it'll be so unfair for them to, for us to expect them to keep up with these things. So breaking it down into concept, like how we say, right, that if you want to teach your child about tax, take a bite from their ice cream, and that's when you tell them that this is what you earn, this is what the government takes from you. So taking up these examples, and I think in today's time there are so many mommy influencers that keep posting about different ways of teaching kids about different concepts. I mean, honestly, years back nobody talked about the good touch, bad touch. But in today's time, parents do start having these conversations with younger kids that, something's known as a good touch, a bad touch. So I think it's time to change. It's time to start having conversations, opening up, or just withdrawing that awkwardness, that shyness, or the thought that maybe they're too young to understand out of it, because kids in today's times are really, really smart. They're really sharp, and they're learning. And if they don't learn it from their house, they're going to learn it from outside. So I think it's really important that we teach them and we channelize their thoughts so that we know that they're learning it in the right way. So I think that should be that should be like that should be like one of the ways how you can actually start teaching your kids about money and finances.
It's a great thought. I really loved it. And moving on to the next question we have is from Rebecca. She's saying that maybe it's out of subject, but should we discuss about our investment with kids? Will that make them think that I have lots of money so I don't have to earn? So Rebecca, to just add a few points from my side, I'd like to say that since kids and since as like as parents, and since the current scenario we all are working from home, and even if we used to go to office or something, kids see that their parents are working really really hard to give them the best. So it's not like always the money aspect will show ki they don't have to work, but they'll see the hard work their parents have put in to give them such kind of education and the lifestyle that they have currently. So that also plays a very very important role. So as you must have also been like seen, like while working, your kids maybe see you like being on calls, working, like submitting various deliverables that you may have during the day. So they see that my parents are working day and night to give me the best. So why not they should also do the best that they can themselves, like at this age, if the kids are small, they can study well, so they get good marks and everything, so both the parents and the child both are like happy that way. So I think these are small small things that can be done, and it's not like avoiding money conversations. You can always have them, and as the child grows you can talk about investments, because it's your family who will like take care of you and your finances. So it's very important for them to know like where the money has been, so in times of need they are the ones who will take charge of like your finances at the time when they require. So supposedly if there might be a case that there's an emergency and your health insurance needs to be submitted at the door, like the hospital or something. So if your kid knows about it, they will actually like submit everything, and they will know like what to do in that situation. If sometimes there might be a case that you need money and you are not able to access that whatever place that you have, like your documents or the locker or anything, but if the kid or your family knows about it, it's like they are well informed and they have that responsibility in themselves that my parents have shared that confidential information with me, so I need to take my decisions responsibly. It's not just like thinking like we have lots of money to spend. They'll also see that since I have been given this opportunity that my parents discuss money openly with me, I'm at a better place to make right decisions for them as well as for the kid themselves. So this is from my end, and Chanchal, would you like to add something to it?
I think, Rebecca, it's important to understand how you're presenting a concept to a child. If you if you tell them about money and say that, listen, you don't need to like worry about your future because I have taken care of anything, that might lead to them thinking that, okay, I don't really need to worry about it. But if you actually tell them that, listen, this is how I have been investing, you also learn this, so you can grow, you can grow the wealth and you can multiply what I have generated for you. If I have reached from 0 to 10, I want you to take that 10 to a 20 or a 10 to a 30. So the first thing is how you actually deliver the message to your kid, and secondly, like we are continuously emphasizing on the fact that it's important to understand, and since as a parent you are in a better position to judge this, that what is your kids understanding about at their age, how much do they understand, how much maturity do they hold when we talk about such such sensitive such sensitive topics. So if you think that your kid may not be ready to talk about investments, you can always you can always make it a very easy conversation, a very casual conversation with them. But if you think your kid is in the place where he does or she does understand the concept of money or the concept of finances, you can always start upgrading that conversation as the time comes. So it's really, again, I think learning is very customizable. You can always choose the right pace. And since the kids are young, it will be only fair that we go as per their pace and not expect them to learn as per our pace. So Rebecca, I think even if you have like a young kid at home, start having like casual conversation so you understand how much your kid is understanding, what level of retention do they hold of certain things, and then you can always start having relatable conversations with them. So maybe that is one way of going about it too.
Great, thanks, Chanchal. So we have another for you. So it's from, wait, where did it go? It's from Nancy. She's asking, like, what is Flexi FT, and it will help. Will it help to pay the fees for like fees in quarterly or yearly installments?
Hi Nancy, thank you for sending in your question. Again, Flexi FD is a similar concept to what I explained about an RD. I'll tell you first what is an FD so that you can understand the difference between a Flexi FD and a FD. An FD is a fixed deposit. When we talk about fixed deposit, it means that you take a lump sum amount, you put it in a bank, or you put it in a post office it is termed as a term deposit, but you put it in a bank and you tell them that after x many years I'm going to come and take this money out. It could be 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, up to 10 years. You can say that I'm going to come and take this money out. What they're going to do is they're going to calculate interest on it, and they give you an option to pick how you want to redeem your interest. Do you want to take it upon maturity with the principal amount, or do you want to take it monthly or quarterly or semi annually, or however the bank is allowing you to withdraw it? Now, when you talk about a flexi FD, it means that you can actually, you can actually change the amount that you're investing in it. And um, and if I'm not wrong, it is not necessarily a flexi FD, it's more of a flexi RD, right? Like in flexi RD, it's like uh, when you talk about an RD is when you deposit like 1,000 rupees every month. A flexi RD allows you to change that amount and make it 1,000 rupee this month, a 500 deposit the next month, a 200 the next month, and depending on the minimum balance of that deposit, it changes. So that is actually the concept of a flexi RD. And does it help you to pay your fees quarterly and yearly? Definitely yes, if it is allowing you to withdraw that money, and you are ensuring that you are depositing enough money to generate enough interest that would pay your fee. So again, all of these things work they do work dependently, that your goal, your time horizon, your returns expected, the rate of return the instrument is providing, everything needs to be considered before making a decision. So I hope that answers the question.
Thank you, Chanchal. And with that, we have one more comment. It's from Mamta. She's asking, will this video be shared on group as I have connectivity issues? So yes, Mamta, this will be on the page as well as we'll share it on the group as well for all of you. So if you have connectivity issues, do watch it later. If you found this really helpful, and do share it with your friends and family, and to help them also in, just do your part in helping them in planning their child's education and everything. So it's like we are a community led fintech, Lakshmi. We are helping everyone and guiding you, empowering you to take charge of your finances. So one thing that you also can do is like share this with your friends and family, so that it helps us reach a larger audience and we make a big impact in the society. So with that, I think we have answered all the questions here.
I think majority of the questions are about where we can watch this video. So to all of you, you can watch this video again on this Lakshmi page. It will be available throughout. We'll request someone from the team to share the same on our Being Lakshmi community. I would have explained about that, but Priya, I would like you to explain like and talk a little about the Being Lakshmi community at the end again for all those who have joined in late. And thank you. And I think with that we have um, to learn about managing finance, not to worry. Learn about oh, I like Sai Deepika's comment. She's written, I took time to learn about managing finances. Now I have to worry to because I need to learn how to teach them according to their age. So I think Sai Deepika, I think the moment you decide to become a parent, you kind of automatically sign up for all these things, right? So again, hats off to all the mothers who do take an extra step to, and not just mothers, to parents actually who do take that extra step to make the child's life better, to do the best for the children, to provide best for the children. And it's only because of the parents why children are prospering today. And all of and I'm pretty sure all of you who are here today who are trying to give the best to the children are doing so because your parents did the same for you. And it's only their more models and principles that you have inculcated so that you can do the best for your child. So it's a process, it's something that we all pass on, and it's just great to interact with so many parents today. I think it was such a lovely session getting to talk to all of you here. Thank you for taking your time out, and we hope all of you we are able to answer all of your questions. If there's something that we are still haven't answered, please join in our community on Facebook or an app, and we'd be happy to help you understand different concepts, different tools, give you different ideas on how to go about teaching your kids about different concepts, because that is what we're here for, right? As money coaches, we're here to coach you the right way. So, passing on the mic to you, Priya, I would really like that you can tell our audience about the whole Lakshmi and the Being Lakshmi piece again.
Okay, so to all the audience that is watching us live right now, I would like to say like a very heartfelt thank you for all. Like thank you to all of you for joining us at 9 o'clock in the night. Like after like it's like a dinner time for all of you. But since you gave the time to us, it's really like we really appreciate it. And Lakshmi is like India's first financial platform, which is exclusively for women, and our aim is to empower all of you to take charge of your finances, because finance is something which usually in the past that women have always shied away from or have not been involved in the family or in the money conversations. But today we see there's like a big change in the society. We are working, we are managing, we are doing everything, so why not manage our own money? It's very very important to take independent financial decisions, and that is why Lakshmi is here to help you and guide you. And we have a community called the Being Lakshmi community. It's on Facebook, as well as we have a separate app which like it's like a one stop solution for you, where you can learn, ask questions from the money coaches. We have Preeti also there to answer your questions, and you can ask, you can learn, there are learning modules there, and you can invest at the same time. So it's like one stop solution for you can search for the app on the Play Store as well as on the App Store, or you can join, if you are a frequent user of Facebook, you can join the Being Lakshmi community on Facebook. It's a safe place to ask all your questions, and it's like a non judgmental place. Even if you are a beginner starting your money journey today, we are there to help you out. Even if you want to learn like how to save money, we are there for you. If you want to know what is mutual funds, what is SIP, how to take your finance, like how to plan for your goals, everything, like if there's a like a instrument specific question also, we are there to guide you there. And we usually try to create relatable content and in like a very present it to you in a very easier format, so that you are learning finance but it's very easy for you. It's not the technical jargons that are come into place, but something which is very easy to understand, and you are actually able to use it in your daily lives. So do join us, and we'd be happy to see you and interact with you again. And if you have any particular topic that you want us to conduct a session on, do drop your like suggestions in the comment section below. And if you like this session, do share your feedback, we'd be happy to read it. Thank you so much, everyone.
Great. Thank you all for joining in. And I think we have like always, exceeded our money hour by another half an hour. And we are really excited that even when we conduct these sessions after such a long break, we get all of your support. And do drop in your feedback if you like today's session. Do share it, do like it, and do spread the word about the Lakshmi community. It's really amazing to talk to you all, get your experiences, and get to learn more about our community members, because honestly we totally adore all of you. So thank you all for joining in today, and if you have any special requests for our next session, you want us to cover a certain topic, do let us know and we'll be happy to do it again. So thank you all again for joining in. Have a good night and stay safe. Do take care of your loved ones and yourself.
Thank you.